Oh, how's it going, everybody? Disney Dan here. Welcome back into the channel
Salvage,
with my
salvage.
buddy Savager. We're not going to go there already. Oh my gosh. We're going to paint those colors of the winds today. I am joined by my bud, my partner channel, my great friend Walt from Mouse Talk.
Hi everyone, welcome in.
Back again. I'm looking forward to this one. We are reviewing, as it says here, Pocahontas this week. So hopefully people had a chance to watch it. We definitely watched it. I watched it during the week. I think you watched it today.
Well, I started it last night.
Right.
When we got back from the parks, we were at Pop Century last night. So I watched some of it last night, but I was so tired from the park, fell asleep. I watched the rest of it today.
But you'd never seen it before.
I had never seen it. No, Melissa and I both had never seen it. Well, and I'll tell you why in a little bit. Yeah, so it was first time.
We will get into that. Well, let's just see who's in the chat. We've got first Timothy Rainwaters. Welcome into the stream, buddy. Great to see you. James Ryan, a wonderful, wonderful member of the Disney community and a member of the channels. Thank you so much for being here. James, you are awesome, my friend. Alex, the filmmaker. Great to see you. Let's see who else is here. Samantha Lowe. So good to see you, my friend. Hope you are doing well. Melissa is here. Great to see you. So good to have you in the chat. My partner channel, RobFuz. Great to see you. Congratulations on 3,000 subscribers. Yes. And both, I'm so proud. Both my partner channels this weekend, reached 3,000 subscribers. Both RobFuz and Mouse Talk hit 3,000 subscribers. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. You guys, just a massive congratulations to Rob and to you, Walt and Melissa. So, yeah, a massive achievement. So, we got Caitlin from Make It Blue, another one of my members. Thank you so much for being here. Good to see you.
Rolling in.
LSU, Mom, welcome into the stream. Another member. Thank you so much for being here, Emily. Super Disney fan, welcome into the stream. Welcome. We got some great people coming in. Addiction Mouse, welcome into the stream. Melissa says, oh, thanks, James. And then they're going backwards and forwards on dancing. Yeah, great dancing this morning. Yes, a really great stream today over at Magic Kingdom. It looked like a lot of fun, a lot of rides, and it looked busy, but thank you for bringing us our Disney content for the weekend. It's lovely that you guys are in the parks and, making me sort of get rid of my Disney blues for a bit. So super fluffy Yeti. A little birdie told me something was happening over here after he sang a verse of Doggy in the Window. Okay. Tina McNeil, another member of the channel. Thank you so much for being here. Great to see you, Tina. Thank you so much for stopping by. We got some amazing people in the chat. Today we got more people coming through. My StreamYard chat is not catching up. We got Michelle the Quilter. Welcome into the stream. I love the Pocahontas movie. The music is great. We've got Carlos, another one of my wonderful members, a great friend of the community. Carlos, Disney World Freak. I should just, it's actually Disney _World _freak. I love you though. Good to see you, brother. Hey, I'm ready for the movie stream. Okay, that's a lie, but I live, you guys. Oh, great to see you, Carlos. Welcome into the stream, buddy. Carlos was on Disney Fiasco yesterday. Thank you so much for joining. It was a great show yesterday. We had so much fun. It was myself, Meg, Carlos, and Pete. By the way, Pete is going live later on. Donna Jaworski for Off the Wall. So go check that out. We've got Super Fluffy S says, call back to the bird show Walt streamed this morning. Oh dear.
I got it now. It took me a minute, but I got it now.
Oh, okay. Oh dear. I need to go back and see that. So yeah, today is Pocahontas Day, the Disney movie review. This is going to be a lot of fun. I saw this film for the first time maybe 4 years ago when I was in university, when I was at college. I actually hadn't seen it when I was a child. I watched it one night when I was in college or something. I don't really remember. And it hadn't been a film that I really wanted to go back and rewatch until, this. So we watched it this week. Now, Walt, you and Melissa had never seen this movie.
Right. We had never seen it previous to this week, yesterday. And I got to be honest, it's because it just, don't get mad at me, chat. It didn't interest me at all.
Right.
But we did watch it, and we definitely have some opinions on it. But yeah, it just didn't interest me.
Noah, welcome into the stream. Great to see you. It's interesting because at the time, Pocahontas came out the same time as Lion King, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin. It was at that Renaissance period. It was at the height of Disney sort of creativity. The animation is similar to a lot of those films at the time. So you would think that, this is going to be a knockout. This is going to be, as good as Lion King, Little Mermaid, Aladdin, all those great movies. But for me, I was very surprised with this movie. I really was surprised. The DeFilly crew, I probably got that wrong again. The DeFilly crew, welcome into the stream. Great to see you.
Guys.
Ron and Meredith, welcome into the stream. Carlos says, it didn't interest you? Don't get mad at me, but let's ride Carlos for weeks when I said that.
Well, Carlos, I think you're comparing apples to oranges here. Not seeing Marvel and saying Marvel, probably the biggest cinematic success story of all time, and saying they didn't interest you compared to Pocahontas, it's a little different.
Yeah. John B. Hazelton, welcome into the stream.
Hey, John.
There's a lot of great things about this film, and there's a lot of things that are certainly interesting. I just want to the first thing I really liked about this film was the animation. I think the animation still, holds up, but I don't think it was as colorful as something like Beauty and the Beast or The Lion King. The animation, I think, was done very well, but just not as well as some of the other films that came out during that time. And there's a lot of things I like to talk about. I think for me, the best part of this film is probably the music. I would say the best part of this film is the music, but I that's just my opinion. Movie Mania Nick, welcome into the stream. Great to see you. Welcome. Kate said, Master Pocahontas is in my top 10 Disney movies. I think the message and animation is beautiful to watch. And I think this is one of those things this is one of those things about when we do these reviews, everybody is going to have sort of different levels of opinion, and people are going to put movies a lot higher or maybe even a lot lower. I think everybody's going to, I'm pretty sure that by the end of this stream, there's going to be a lot of mixed grades, I think. So we will get to that. We will get to that. Whereas, some of the other films that we've already reviewed, there was sort of the same sort of levels. So, so should we just start? Should we just start talking about the movie, or did you have any sort of beginner thoughts when you thought about this film?
I will say this. One of the things you said you really liked the best about the movie was one of the things I think I liked best about the movie is the message.
Right.
And we're going to get to what that is in a little bit. But for me, I think that was the biggest part of it. And the music's very good as well. But we'll get to it. We'll get to some things when we get into it. Yeah, let's start. Go ahead, for sure. And let me say this. The beginning of this movie, the very, very beginning, how it starts, was very different, it felt like to me, than some of the other ones that we're used to seeing. I just thought that was kind of interesting.
I like the fact it starts off in London. I love the fact it sort of starts with what essentially is the antagonists of the film, with some of the sort of the people who will meet along the way. Disney, Mitch, welcome. It's great to see you. A long time no see, buddy. Great to see you. Welcome into the stream. So it starts off in London, and this, for me, this was the first thing I didn't like about the movie, because how many Disney movies have a star of the movie have a ship in a storm? Tarzan has one, The Little Mermaid has one, Frozen has one. They all have ships in a storm that go wrong or somewhat. And I think it's such a small, but it's a Disney cliche I just don't like.
It's overused.
It's so overused. It's so overused. I think it's really something that I just think like look, you have Pocahontas with this movie come out a couple of years after Little Mermaid, who also had a ship at nighttime with a ship of the storm, and then you have Pocahontas, and then a couple of years later you have Tarzan with the exact same thing. Like, it's just so overused, and I think it's just I personally didn't like that.
Well, here's the thing. For this movie, it served no purpose.
No.
It was just an action sequence that they put in this movie to have an action sequence. Maybe to possibly enhance the character development of John Smith a little bit because of what he does during that storm, how he saves the one guy, Thomas. Maybe that's the purpose of it, is because we're trying to enhance his character development. But I think you're right. It doesn't serve the overarching theme of the movie itself. But that being said, I'll say this. This movie is based off of a real-life person and persons. Yep. John Smith was a real person. Pocahontas was a real person. Powhatan, her father, was a real person. That makes sense. But Super Fluffy Yeti, I'll say this. Storms and ships back in those days went hand in hand. That was the only form of travel. Yep. There were no cars. There were no planes. It was either horse or ship. That's it.
Yep.
So if you
Kelly, welcome into the stream.
Hey, Kelly, welcome in.
Good to see you.
So I get it. I understand why they put it in there, but you're right. It was an unnecessary piece.
It is, and I think for me, that whole scene was not only an action scene, but like you said, to benefit the characterization of John Smith. And I'm going to put it to you this way. I'm just going to say this straight up. I think the characters in this movie, I think pretty much all the characters in this movie are very bland. Boring. Very, very boring and very bland. Yeah, and they do so much to try and give us a little bit about who they are. And they pretty much give you this scene, this action scene to tell you, right, John Smith is a guy who can dive into a roaring sea while a guy isn't moving and get him and bring him back to the ship. And he's a good man and he's handsome. He's the prince of this movie. That's pretty much who this guy is. And it's very on the nose of what Disney are trying to do with this character. Sure. And I didn't really I think the writing for these characters it was quite hard because obviously these are based around real people, but I just feel like the voice acting and the way the characters are written was very bland. So that's just I think you agree with that.
Yeah, I do. There's no compelling character here. For the most part, I do have my favorite character. I'm sure you do too. Yeah, and we'll talk about our favorite characters at the end here. But there's I don't know. There's a lot I want to get into with this movie, but the ship scene, I get it. You know, those ships and storms, they go hand in hand. They really do, especially back then.
Wendy Lou, welcome into the stream. One of my wonderful members. Thank you so much for being here. Great to see you.
But I agree. And then they finally do kind of make land at where Pocahontas lives as well.
Tina McNeil says it's pretty sad that the tree has more character development than anybody else.
Well, Tina, there's a point to that. You make a very good point.
Yeah.
For a character who has a very, very small part, you have a point there.
And I do want to say for everybody who really enjoys this film, we aren't going to, we're not bashing. This is just our opinion. This is just this is just how we sort of feel. And there are.
Let me just say this, Dan, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No.
I liked the film.
Yeah,
I did not dislike it. I'm sorry.
No, I don't think we dislike the film. There are definitely things that we would have liked to improve and like to do and change about the film, but we didn't necessarily dislike the film. We do feel like the characters were a bit bland. So that's just how we feel. And then so they're on this way to this new land, this new country, and they're joined by the main villain of the movie, which is Governor Ratcliffe, who, again, like, when you look back at this Disney Renaissance, you have characters like Hades, Gaston, Scar, Jafar, all these compelling, scheming, planned villains. These are captivating villains. And then you've just got this guy who's got a really weird beard and all he wants is gold. And I'm just like, he's a weak villain. He's a really weak villain. Like, you compare it to Scar, which came out the year before, and Scar is probably the best Disney villain. Like, that's it's I don't know. I don't know. What did you think of the villain? Karen Cook, welcome into the stream. Great to see you. Welcome. And Brandon from Phantasmic Ears, good to see you too. Welcome in, buddy.
Good to see you both. Hi, Karen. Good to see you. We had a great dinner the other night. Karen was there. Kelly was there. James Ryan was there. It was a great time. I totally agree. The problem I have with this villain is, first off, I feel bad for this villain in the fact that exactly what you just said, he has to follow Hades, Scar, Jafar, and Gaston.
Ursula,
that's some hard villains to follow. And he's just not that unlikable. He is like any other, pardon this, person coming over from Britain. I guess it was British.
We're not all like that, by the way.
No, of course not. No, but not at all. But it seemed to be the mentality back then that I found a new land, the land's mine. Period. Doesn't matter who's already there, it's now mine. But he was very, again, he wasn't compelling. He wasn't that hateable. He was more of a joke than he was anything else. He was just trying to be manipulative, but not really a terribly bad villain. He seemed more almost comical in a lot of ways than he should have been actually a villain. But he was there. You always want that one bad guy that you really hate, that you want to see get his.
Well, Caitlin said, honestly, Governor Ratcliffe scared me more than Scar did. I know, messed up somehow. No, you know what? I actually think that when you see Governor Ratcliffe at Disney, I think he's more scary than than he is in the movie. Right. I just feel he's very underdeveloped as a villain. He's not
even in it that much.
No, he's barely in it. He wants his gold so that King James would like him or something, and he wants a big palace. And we'll get to the Mine song, but yeah, I just wasn't too. He wasn't a great villain. But we did get to meet some characters at the beginning. We met John Smith. We met Thomas. Which is voiced
by, and I did not know this,
Christian Bale.
I didn't know that.
Batman is in this movie.
He is. I did not know that was Christian Bale. How about that?
Batman is in this movie. And then we meet Pocahontas in this film. So a tribe of warriors came back from fighting another tribe. They were victorious, and the leader is, I think his name is Cocowan. He's like the main leader, the main warrior of the tribe. And
Cocoan.
I think it's
Cocoan.
Cocoan. They came back and like they were celebrating, and then the chief is Pocahontas' daughter. And they're like, oh, where is she? And then we see her, like, that stereotypical Disney, what do you call it? Commercial. How we talk about our Disney commercial moments. Yeah, she's standing over the waterfall. She's got the wind coming through, which the wind plays a role in this film. And we get introduced to her. And I just feel this introduction to this character, this main character, was just, like, her friend's like, hey, come down here. And she's like, okay. And then she goes, oh, not that way. And she jumps off the cliff. She dives all the way down. But then when she hits this is me because I used to be a lifeguard and this makes no sense. She dives into the water. She's jumping from, I don't know how far up, but it was pretty long. She literally dives in and comes pretty much straight back up. I'm sorry, but if you're diving from the top of a waterfall, you're going pelting down. You ain't coming back up for a while.
Yeah.
She must be an amazing swimmer.
It's an animated movie.
I know, it's nitpicking. Captain Akron, welcome into the stream. Great to see you.
Let me say this about Pocahontas right off the bat. This was the first time I've actually seen this film. I had not seen it before today.
Yeah.
Pocahontas is one of the prettiest drawn princesses out of all the princesses. She is really, really pretty in this movie.
Yeah.
I never really noticed it as much until finally sitting down and watching it. I've always been enamored with Jasmine. She's still my favorite. I love Snow White. But Pocahontas was really pretty.
Very well animated. James goes, easy, Dad. It is animated. Trees really are not grandmothers either.
That's true.
I give her a 10. No splash. No splash, Captain.
Yeah.
No splash, Mr. Stark. I'm sorry, that's a Peter Pan reference. Sorry.
But I do like the first time we're introduced to her introduction. Maybe yes, it could have been maybe a little bit more, but I'm okay with it. I mean, she's out doing her thing. She's a rebel in a lot of ways, and we're starting to see more of that as the years are gone on. You know, the early princesses were saved by the princes. They were the damsels in distress. And as we've gone on in time, these princesses are becoming a little bit more independent, a little bit more rebellious, have their own mind, they do their own thinking. And that's that's also kind of status quo for Disney movies as time has gone on. And we see that she's not one that shies away from the unknown, which we'll get into when we talk about her first song. She's not one that shies away from the unknown or the easy path.
Yeah, she goes really...
She takes the unknown way down by, instead of walking down, she jumps over the cliff to get down there.
She really goes into the unknown on that one. So, Simba, welcome into the stream. Great to see you.
Welcome, Simba.
Melissa says you apparently like the dark-haired princesses. So, yeah, so Jasmine's your second favorite princess, right?
No, she's my first favorite princess. Melissa's a queen.
Oh, okay. You recovered well there.
Thank you.
Kate says, what was Pocahontas' friend in the beginning? I can't remember if she had a name. That's the thing. Like, the names in this film, I can't. I know the villain's name. I know Pocahontas' name.
Right.
And John Smith and I always thought his name was Timothy, but it was Thomas. I think some of those names are quite hard to remember. Nakoma, that's her name?
Yes, and of course Chief Powhatan, who I think also was a real person.
Yeah.
I think that's her real father in real life back then in the 1600s. Welcome in, Magic of the Mouse TV.
Bill, good to see you. Congrats on 3K World. Great to see you, Magic of the Mouse TV. Another one of my wonderful members. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah, I mean, it's she definitely likes to go on her own path, and that's kind of like always been her character, and that's actually something I quite like about her. Like she's not sort of confined to anywhere. She likes to do her own thing, and which leads into just around the Riverbend, which it kind of started with her father saying, you know, you're gonna marry Cockawam, you know, he's gonna be a great husband. And she's like, I don't want that. I want somebody who I want to go on adventures with. I want somebody who has that sort of same life in me. And that's what she wanted. Which I think just around the Riverbend actually was my favorite song from the film. Because it sort of tells you the path that you choose your own path. That's the kind of thing I liked about this song. And it was very well animated. So I like that a lot.
I like, by the way, thank you, Wendy Luga, for that. That was very nice of you to say. Thank you. I appreciate it very much. We had fun today. I like that song a lot, Dan. I got to admit, for the first time listening to Colors of the Wind through the entire film, watching it, I think that's my favorite. But Just Around the Riverbend is a close second. I really like that song, too. I really like the end of the song. When you see the two rivers, you see the calm river, the slow river, and then you see the one that's got all the rapids. And which one does she go down? She goes down the rapids. I like that, those little small nuances, those hidden little things.
References, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I love that.
I like that.
Pamela, welcome into the stream. Great to see you. Thank you so much for being here. James says, imagine the joy we will all have when international travel is permitted. Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So when we can make it back over there. But yeah, I like that sort of message that the animators were doing with which sort of related from the song and what they're showing on screen. I really like that.
Great, 100%. Yep.
So the Virginia Company arrive on this land, and two things happen. John Smith decides to go off on his own, and he's instructed by Governor Ratcliffe to see if there's any Indians. You take them out. That's what you're going to do. So he starts scouting out.
He called them savages.
So let's talk about this. So there's a lot of this movie got a lot of backlash of how it discusses not race, but people from different places and the way people look and look differently and what people call each other. And this is an example of how not to do that. And this is an example of, this is how we should not be and how we should not talk to people from different places who look different to us. And some of the writing here is very extreme. It's very on the nose, very they say it as it is. And I think Disney had a lot of guts to write a script where they're calling people savages and they say things like white skin and red skin and it's very it's more like a not a G-rated movie writing. This is very extreme, and I think it's interesting. It's very, very interesting.
Let me say this. First off, history is history is history. You can't rewrite history, and you can't water it down. If that's the way it was, in a lot of ways, and look, there's a lot of things about this movie that are incorrect from the history as well, which we're going to get into. But they call them savages. They were different. Look, we all fear the unknown. Okay? That's just human nature. If you don't know something, you fear it. And when it comes to fear, what happens? Your first instinct is aggression, to defend yourself. Whether there's something to defend or not. I mean, a lot of that was true. And back then in the 1600s, it wasn't quite as civilized as we are today, as funny as that sounds. But, what I like so much about the song Savages is both sides were calling the other savages. The Indians were calling the Native Americans Indians, and I apologize, but they were also calling the British. They were calling them savages. And that was the point. That's the message, is that people can take things, you automatically assume the worst with people before you get to know them. And it's always about fighting first instead of talking.
I mean, it's such a relatable film, even to nowadays, which is sad. Yeah. It's very sad. And obviously we're not going to go into what is going on in the real world right now, but I think people should take a look at this film and see, this is how we shouldn't be doing things. This is, we need to come together and it shouldn't matter of where we come from or what we do. And, so
Dan, let me say this. As far as we've come in this world, we still have a long way to go in some areas. And that's
absolutely.
We still have the same issues they had back in the 1600s when it comes to the fear of the unknown and somebody that's different from us, whether it's the color of their skin, the way they talk, the way they dress, the way they look. We still have issues with that today in the world. For as far as we've come, we still got a long way to go in some areas.
Absolutely.
We haven't grown hardly at all in that area. I mean, we've grown. Don't get me wrong.
Mm.
But we still have a long way to go there too.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry.
No, absolutely. I mean, it's a very important part of the film. Probably the most important part of the film. So John Smith goes off to find these, find the Indians, and he's been told to, take them out and have them not be involved with their digging. And at the meantime, Ratcliffe says, right, we're going to start digging. We're going to build our fort. We're going to mine for the gold that, is here in this land, which we find out there actually is no gold. But he's so delusioned by that, if we can't find the gold, then the Indians have the gold. And even though there's no gold at all. And it comes into this song called Mine, or Mine, 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 which is not the Mine, Mine, Mine from Finding Nemo, but the song is just called Mine, Mine, Mine.
Yes.
And actually, I quite liked this because it actually gives some bit of character to the villain. It doesn't give a lot. It just gives me something. It's like putting a bit of salt and pepper on a steak. It's like putting a little bit of something to make it somewhat edible. That's what I think this song does. That's a great food analogy, by the way. So yeah, it's a fine song. Like, it kind of gives you a little bit of sort of backstory to who this villain is. Yeah, that's it pretty much. And then the Indians attack them, and we kind of see the Indians, feel very sort of because they were the top dog, right? They were at the top of the food chain, the top tribe, and now these guys have come in with guns. They've never seen guns before.
Right.
And they're like, oh, we need to get out of here. We need to get back to the village. We're in trouble. We need to get people back in. So that's pretty much what's happening between the two parties here.
Right. But we have to touch on Pocahontas with John Smith because...
Right. I'll leave that to you.
Yeah, well, no, it's because you're right. You have the Native American tribes on one side, and you have the British that have come over, the colonists that are coming over on that side, and they each have their own uneducated opinion of the other. That's how I see it. Okay? They both think each other are savages and out to get them and destroy them. And there might even be some truth to both of that. But then you have what should be seen as the connection, how we can all be connected no matter how we look, we can all still come together. You have John Smith on the one side and Pocahontas on the other side who meet. And at first there's friction but then they grow to know each other. They grow to respect each other, learn from each other, because she talks about her land, he talks about where he's from. She teaches him, he teaches her. And then they actually have a connection, emotionally as well. Now, this is where ultimately it's a little bit different in the history, because in the history books, and Dan, you're the big history major here, the two of them never got together.
No.
That never happened. She married John Wolfe, who was one of the colonists, and they had a son named Thomas Wolfe, who I don't know if that's who that's supposed to be, Christian Bale's, or they just used the name. Obviously, it's not her son because,
Yeah.
But they grow to love each other, ultimately. They do. So from two different worlds, so to speak, but they learn to respect, love, learn together. And they, that's where we kind of are in this story.
Tina says, wait, you don't like steak? I love steak. But I'm just saying, like, you add a bit of salt and pepper to it. Just makes it that bit better. Bill says, can you put enough salt and pepper on American shepherd's pie to make it taste better? I'm not even going to go there.
Well, this is the best shepherd's pie, or whatever.
Does she make it with lamb or beef?
Yes.
Look, if she makes it with beef,
I'll say lamb, because I know if I say beef, you're going to say it's not shepherd's pie.
Then I'll say she makes a beautiful cottage pie. So
she makes a great cottage pie.
There we go. Melissa says the historical part frustrates me a bit. Yeah, but here's the thing: like, though this movie's inaccurate, when we review Hercules, I'm going all out. I'm telling you right now, I'm going all out, no question, because that movie. I wrote a paper on that movie. Yeah, they do not get together historically. Pamela says, I love the soundtrack. I used to sing just around the riverbend nonstop. I wore out my Pocahontas CD. I said before, that's my favorite song. So
it's a really look, the two songs in this movie that everybody knows, they know them because there's a reason. They're really good. Now, does everybody know the other songs in these movies? That's where I think this movie falls. I can tell you all the songs from Beauty and the Beast. Every last one of them. I can tell you all the songs from Lion King,
Aladdin,
Little Mermaid. Not just the main songs, the secondary songs. I couldn't begin to, other than Savages, and that's only because we've been talking about it. The other ones, I don't even remember the names of them because to me they're okay.
You Brits are so picky. Oh dear, oh dear. If it's made with lamb but no salt, it's still a shepherd's pie. Yeah, because it's made because shepherds herd the sheep. They don't herd cows. They don't. Well, I don't know what they do in the States, but not here. Oh dear, we're gonna get onto this argument again. So they sort of build this relationship, and I don't feel it. It's not like Eric and Ariel. It's not like Beast and Belle. I just don't get their. There's something about it I just didn't find connecting with them.
Well, I think part of it is because we know in the history books that didn't really happen.
But I feel even, but yeah,
you know, I couldn't. It didn't make sense to me because it didn't really happen, and it's not a fairy tale. It's something, you know.
Cottages don't hurt cows. The reason why it's called a cottage pie is because way back, if you wanted a shepherd's pie and you couldn't actually afford one, so when they made it with beef, most people who would have the beef shepherd's pie lived in cottages in the UK. So that's why it's called a cottage pie. So I'm getting off topic, but yeah, I don't know. So this part of the movie I feel it just gets very sort of just boring. Like nothing really happens in the middle part of this movie. No. Like, there's nothing like they go and see Grandmother Willow, who I think for me is personally my favorite character in the film. She's full of wisdom. She kind of guides Pocahontas in the right way. She has some great sorts of advice for her, and her and John Smith, and I actually enjoy her character very much. But I think this middle part, the second act of this film, is very, I don't know. Something just doesn't feel right to me about the second act. So
yeah, it's okay. Again, and even the secondary characters, the supposedly comical characters that are in this, the little bird or whatever that thing is, and the dog, and even Miko, they're okay. They're not. I don't find them to be that funny. I mean, they're
yeah.
Okay.
Right, and I would agree. I would say a lot of the jokes and slapstick comedy just don't land. Like, take this for example. Last week we spoke about Tangled, and there were two characters who non-speaking who brought the comedy very, very well, and that was Pascal and Maximus. And they did it they were written very, very well. They brought that comedic humor to the movie. Whereas I think Flit and Miko and the dog, I think they almost tried too hard, because I think basically for me, because the characters are so bland, they kind of needed those comedic characters to punch some life into this film, and not all of it landed. And I really didn't like the dog and Miko relationship there. I found it quite sort of like, did it really need to happen? Like, did it really need to work? What was their purpose? Like, those secondary characters still need to have a purpose. For example, you look at Beauty and the Beast, you have Lumiere, Cogsworth, Mrs. Potts, and Chip, and all of them, even though they're secondary characters and they're there for comedic effect, still had a purpose in the film. Chip had a massive role. Chip, was the one who got Belle and Maurice out of the cottage, locked up, and Chip was that sort of funny character. Whereas I think Miko and the dog and Flit really didn't do much. They were just there. They were just hanging out.
Right. Yeah. I mean, they had their comedic moments, but they weren't. I mean, they were there for comedy effect only. That was it. And they didn't serve a. It's going to sound terrible. They weren't important to the story. No. They were the comedic effect that were there.
Yeah, I totally agree. Kayla says that relationship makes sense in the sequel of the original. Plus, as kids, it was humor. I totally get it. I totally understand that. I totally get that. And I actually haven't seen the sequel, just because I've heard such not great things about it.
Well, let me say this. She makes a good point. Plus, as kids, the humor was fun. You're exactly right, and that's why it's there. Okay, those Miko and the dog and the hummingbird are there for the kids, for the comic effect for them. You're right, they are, and I'm reviewing this as an adult, so I do have to take that into effect. I can see as a child you're going to enjoy that. It's going to be funny to you because this movie isn't made technically for adults. It's still technically for kids. It's an animated movie. And you're right. We sometimes lose. I know I do. I lose focus on that. What I don't think is funny, a 6-year-old is probably going to find hilarious. So you're right. That's a fair point.
I remember as a child loving Jar Jar Binks, and now I hate him. So I mean, it's the same kind of thing. Those characters are there. Are designed for those kids to have a laugh at. But I also feel that because Disney had done so many films, they would know how to write good side characters, and that they would still be able to give some form of purpose to that character. That's just my opinion.
I've seen other side characters that, as an adult, I think are hilarious. So,
Jeff and Ange from This Our Dream, welcome into the stream, guys. Good to see you. They did a great stream earlier today talking about. They did Nerd Talk where they spoke about Black Panther. They do a Marvel review every week on alternating channels, and of course, unfortunately, Chadwick Boseman passed away this week. So I think they did that in his honor, and it was a very sad day yesterday. We lost someone, a very amazing actor. So we're not going to talk about that. We'll move on from that. So everyone sort of started to get a little bit sort of worried about what's going to happen, and basically both sides sort of send an agent, and Pocahontas' friend sends Cocoa to go and find where Pocahontas is, and Governor Ratcliffe sends Thomas to follow John Smith to see what's going on. Like they both send agents. Gillian Bone, welcome into the stream. Independent Sensi Consultant, great to see you. She's from the Hitchhiking Bones. I absolutely love Pocahontas. It's my favorite Disney movie of all time. I am here representing the Hitchhiking Bones. Great to see you, Gillian Bones. Welcome, Gillian. Great to see you. So so they both sort of said agents, and pretty much what happens is they kind of both find out what Pocahontas and John Smith are doing. They find a connection, pretty much. They find that they're both sort of together, and Cocoa goes after John Smith. They have a little bit of a scuffle. They have a little bit of a fight. Pocahontas trying to break it up, and then Thomas, who's had a little bit of a backstory story, being like, Radcliffe was saying, "You're not a man until you shoot a gun," and this was his shot. This was his chance, and he kills Cocoa, who's the leader, the main, warrior of the tribe.
I'll say this.
England, Portugal, welcome into the stream. Great to see you.
Yes, England, Portugal, welcome in. Good to see you. I do think that ultimately, he probably, from the looks of it, again, this is just animated, it looks like Cocoa actually has the upper hand and is probably going to kill John Smith.
John Smith, yeah.
It does look like he's probably got him and is about to stab him when Thomas shoots and mortally wounds Copeland. And that kind of starts, at that point, the other Indians come up, the other Native Americans come out, and they capture John Smith. And now that's when the you-know-what has hit the fan.
This was the catalyst. This was the trigger, metaphorically and literally.
And literally.
Right. This was the trigger of what happens to start the third act, which I actually think was quite good because the middle act is a bit sort of, nothing really happens too much. So John Smith gets captured, taken back to the camp, and they're trying to sort of, Pocahontas trying to reason with his father, like, hey, they're not bad people. And they're like, oh, no. You just killed our best boy. We need to go get them now. And the aggression from both sides starts to build. And we get that song, Savages.
Now remember though, on the side on Governor Radcliffe's side, he's actually happy about this because now he's like, yes, now we've got a real reason to go kill him. And we're going to manipulate that. And now everybody's going to go and definitely do it. And he goes out there and he kind of manipulates everybody. Look, they've taken one of our people. They attacked us. Let's go get them before they kill all of us. And he uses that to his advantage because he wants to keep going into the forest further, do more mining, do more digging to try to find the gold that he feels is there.
Which there isn't any.
Not on that part of the United States. Of course, if you remember the gold rush of the 1800s out west, that's a different story.
There we go. But clearly it was in the wrong place. Jenny says, Color of the Winds and Savages are two of the best Disney songs ever. They are beautiful songs. We already spoke about Savages, and I love sort of the contrast of, they're both sort of symbolizing, aggression and hatred for one another is a very powerful song. And, you see sort of the people marching with sort of the smoke in the background with their faces. And it's quite intense. It's very, very intense. And Pocahontas goes to Grandmother Widow. She's like, what am I going to do? I need to stop this. And she runs like the wind, which I think is very, very good. And just as soon they the Indians are on the top sort of hill, ready to shoot with their bow and arrows. Radcliffe and the Virginia Company are ready to shoot with their guns. They put John Smith right on the edge, and the chief is about to club him over the head, about to kill him. Pocahontas is like, no, we need to stop this. This is wrong. Aggression is wrong. And I'm like, okay, this is good. She's sort of trying to stop everything. And the chief gives in and lets him free.
Let me say this. I want to jump in there and kind of expand on that a little bit. To me, Dan, that's my favorite part of the movie.
Right.
Because when they put his head there, she's there, and she literally, and again, knowing the history, John Smith has, for whether you believe him or not, I know that they've actually, some people have said yes, no to this. She actually falls down in front of him and cradles his head and puts her head there and says, no, if you're going to kill him, you have to kill me too.
Yep.
And she tells her father, I love him. Which I want to bring up later. She says that I love him. Right. But I like that part that she actually puts her head right next to his and physically saves him as well. And that's when the father and everybody else stops. And they take that step back and they kind of come to their senses a little bit.
Thank you, Disney Mitch. Thank you so much for stopping by. Good to see you, pal. Like everyone just sort of stops. And it's kind of a bit of a brainwave moment because there's that realization that, it doesn't matter where you're from. Love is still, it doesn't matter, color of skin. It doesn't matter where you're from. Love is the most important thing. And so the chief and the Indians are sort of, I find this kind of, not that I didn't like it, the Virginia Company just killed their best man of the tribe. And then they just set free the guy who they thought killed him. And I'm just like, yeah, I get that they need to stop the aggression, but they lost somebody who was so important to the tribe. And I just don't buy the fact that they forgived him like that.
Oh, I agree. I agree.
You know,
but again, for an animated film, ultimately, you don't want to get too. You're right. Ultimately, as adults, that's the first thing we're going to think of. But for children, I think it's good that they perceive it that way, that you can forgive someone like that for a mistake that was made. Yeah. And actually, John Smith didn't kill him in the film. It was actually Thomas who did it. But you're right. I think this our dreams.
Looks like John Smith was the Phoenician. All the more reason to thank him.
It's just funny.
You guys are going all the way to this week. You know, you're talking about cottage and shepherd's pie. Now the Phoenicians. Okay.
But I like the part that they do that. And then that's when Governor Radcliffe kind of takes his, if he ever has a really big step as a villain, this is the step where he takes and he sees that his men too are backing off. And that's not what he wants. He wants anarchy. He wants chaos. He wants war because he thinks they're going to win. And they probably, well, history says they do, ultimately. So he takes the gun out of somebody's hand and he tries to kill the chief. And that's when John Smith steps in front of the bullet and saves the chief.
Which I think is great. I think it's a great moment. And that's called a, sort of the, you know, what the resolution, and the men, the Virginia company, think this is wrong. And they, you know, they pretty much arrest him, and he's defeated in that way. And again, for a villain to go out like that, it's a bit, like just
anticlimactic.
Sure. It's anticlimactic, and you know, it's a very sad moment. And the only way for John Smith to survive is to go back to England, because that's where they have the resources and the medicine for him to survive. And this ending is the most anticlimactic and poor ending, I think, in a Disney movie I've seen, in my personal opinion. She's just said in front of everybody that she loved him. I would have let her go with him. I would have.
Well, he did let him go. He did. The father said, "You make your own decision."
Yeah, and which for me, I think she should have gone, because she's always talked about going down her own path and to go on that adventure and to be that person she wanted to be and not stay in the tribe. I feel that she should have gone. Like, she should have gone. That's just my personal opinion. I don't really understand the reason why she stayed. Like, I just don't get it. She you know, I don't know.
Right. Well, I think Jillian makes a good point here. Says she enjoys Pocahontas too a little bit more. It more follows the original story of Pocahontas. Maybe that's why they ended it that way, because ultimately she didn't end up with John Smith. So maybe that's why they didn't let her go on with him to England, because if she had, then it really makes the story look a little bit worse. Maybe him leaving, going back to England, yes, she loves him, but she stays behind for her family, and then they never happen. John Wolfe at some point comes over, she marries him and has Thomas. Maybe that's why they did it that way. I don't know. I didn't see the sequel. It was anticlimactic when I saw her running as the ship was leaving. I really thought that was going to be her diving into the water and coming to the ship with him. Yeah. But it never happened. She did stay behind, and that's where the film ends. It just literally ends like that. She runs over to the same cliff where I think she looked out the one time, and you see the ship go off into the sunset. And that's it. And that's the movie. What's up, Avery?
Avery, good to see you.
I'm with you. It is definitely anticlimactic in that point. But ultimately, she shouldn't have ended up with him anyway, because in history books, she doesn't.
Yeah, I don't know. It wasn't... I don't know. It wasn't for me. But overall, this film, it was a... I know the reason why I haven't watched it in a long time is because it's not a rewatchable film for me. It's not. And we're going to do our grade in just a second. Avery says, I just wanted to hop in and say I give Pocahontas an A. Fantastic. I'm glad that you really enjoy this film. That's fantastic. On a serious note, I hear Pocahontas is buried in the UK somewhere. Can anyone confirm? She is.
Well,
supposedly.
Well, supposedly the church that she was buried at was burned down, and they lost track of where she was there. If you read in the history, I read up on her history a little bit. She actually died at the age of 20 on her way back from England back to the U.S. She died. She died at the age of 20. She never made it back. I think
Very young.
Some people think she might have been poisoned. Some people not sure what happened. It's probably because she was exposed to viruses and things of that nature that she wasn't used to. Who knows? But yeah, it's very sad. She died very young, very, very young.
Yeah. I think it's time to give our grade of this film. If you are new here, we do a grading system rather than a numbering system out of 10. We do a grade. So A+ being the perfect film of all time, and an F being the worst film of all time. And I kind of throw in that a C is like an average, like the middle grade. For me personally,
who's your favorite character, Dan? Let me ask you, who's your favorite character in this?
Grandmother Willow.
Okay,
gotcha. And you?
Pocahontas.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed of all the characters. I think Mel Gibson was probably not a good choice as John Smith, but that's just me. But again, I'm really enamored by the beauty of Pocahontas and how well she was drawn. Very pretty. And just drawn very well. And the girl that voiced her has a beautiful, beautiful voice. Just talking. I think she's also Native American, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
which was great. I just really enjoyed Pocahontas' part in this movie a lot. She was my favorite for me.
I enjoyed this film. I don't think, for me, I don't think it really holds up. It's not one of my favorite films ever. There are a lot of things I didn't like about the film, and for me, having really bland characters really doesn't do it for me. So I'm going to give it a C-. I'm going to give it a C-. I don't think I could put it any lower than that. But I think it's an average movie. I think the characters really doesn't do it for me. So I'm going to give it a C-. Walt, what do you think? What's your grade?
I think Simba 2 really hit it on the nose. C-. Some songs save it from a D. And I agree 100%. I'm going to give it a C- as well. And I think the two songs, and the fact that, yes, James, I am enamored by the character, Pocahontas herself, saves it from being a D, because I'm not really happy with the screenplay of it, the actual, the dialogue in the movie was a little bit too, I don't know how to say it. I don't know that I'll go back and watch this movie again.
No. No. Not for a long time, I don't think.
Yeah, exactly. But C- for me as well. And what do we got in the chat? What's everybody saying?
Timothy Rainwater gives it a B+. Wendy says, I don't like this film, so I'm going to give it an F. Well,
wow.
That's fair enough. That's absolutely fair enough. Gillias gives it an A++. That goes above our grading scale, so that's fantastic. Melissa agrees with us, C-. Tina gives it a C-. Pamela gives it a B+, fantastic. Simba, as we said, gives it a C-. I'm going to save it from a D. Let's see who else. The songs and the animations are what gives this movie an A for me. Fantastic, absolutely. C+ for Captain Akron. Ratings all over the place. I give it a B. Get a B+ for Caitlin for me. There are movies I would rank higher, but for just a princess film, it's an A heart. Noah gives it a B. Kelly, C-. James, a B. Emily says no grade since I haven't seen it. That's totally cool. You'll let us know when you see it what grade you would give it, though. B+, I love the music, says Michelle. And Karen Cook gives it a B too. And I think this is one of the first films we had which really divided us and the chat for a film, which is great. Look, everybody has different opinions, and we totally respect what, if you love this movie, if you don't like this movie, it's totally cool. Like this is just what we like and dislike, so that's totally fine. So if you really love this film, fantastic. I'm glad that you really, really enjoyed it.
This Our Dream makes a good point. If you had a daughter, you might like it more. I might. You absolutely, you could be correct. But that being said, there's a lot of Disney princess films out there I love, and I don't have a daughter.
I mean, Tangled last week for me.
I love Exactly.
was an A- for me. I love
I mean,
Tango.
they got an A from me, so it just depends.
Yeah, so but look, I totally respect everybody's opinions and everybody's grading. I'm glad that some of you gave it a really great level, a high level. That's fantastic. If you don't like this movie, that's totally cool too. I think the animation still looks good. I think some of the scenes are great. The songs are really good. I just think the characters a bit bland, and I think the voice acting wasn't too great either. So it comes to that point in the stream where we choose our film for next week. This could be on Walt's channel, so this is Walt's pick. So we're gonna get our box as normal. This is
and by the way, before you pull that, let me say this: what we love about this show is all the different opinions. If we all had the same opinion on everything, it would kind of be boring. I love the fact that everybody has different views. It's awesome.
I love it. I absolutely agree. So let's see what it'll be next week. I have the movie. Okay, this is we are going obscure on this one, a nostalgic one for sure. This is what I call part of the retro series. So we're gonna need someone like Pepper Tree Villa or someone like that. We are watching The Cat from Outer Space.
That's going to be awesome.
Oh, yeah. The Cat from Outer Space is
Cat from Outer Space, Melissa.
Oh gosh! So if you're a cat lover, you're gonna enjoy this one. I've never seen this movie. I'm looking forward to it. The Cat from Outer Space. Let me know in the chat if you have seen the movie. This is gonna be a fun one next week. So if you haven't subscribed to Walt, that's where the review will be next week, same time, 6 p.m. Oh, this is gonna be a fun one. This is gonna be a really, really fun one. Karen says, "Oh, I love that movie." Simba said, "I just watched it." I'm not sure I'm on it. Yes,
Sandy Duncan and Dean. Well, Dean Jones is in everything, by the way.
Yeah,
he's fantastic. Sandy Duncan's in that. I didn't know that.
But this is what we love about this stream. So if you've never seen it before, have a watch of it this week, and then we can talk. This is like our Disney book club, but instead of books, we watch films once a week. We really enjoy this one. Pocahontas was a great pick this week, and I'm glad that you guys came out to join us to watch this. And this week, The Cat from Outer Space. Watch it on Disney Plus, and that's what we're going to be reviewing next week. This was so much fun. This was a great show. Really great show.
Well. Pocahontas, again, I did enjoy it. I didn't dislike it. There were just a lot of different things I would have liked to be different about. But no, this was a lot of fun. Thank you to everybody in the chat for being so active, very active.
Yeah, thank you so much. You guys are amazing. And this what brightens our day, being, for you guys to come here and to spend the time with us, and we really enjoy these streams, and it's a lot of fun. I just want to let everyone know, if you haven't yet subscribed, please, please, please subscribe. I am 6 subscribers away from 1,900. Only 6. So if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. Let's get to 1,900. 6 away. Come on, only 6. But it's been so much fun. Thank you so much for being here, Walt. If you haven't checked out Mouse Talk, part of the channel, great friend, amazing live streamers, as well as a plethora of other great Disney content. You guys do such great jobs on the weekend, and then amongst all your other videos that you do, it's absolutely amazing, and honored to be part of your channel, and you're just a great partner channel. So
thanks, Kyle. I appreciate it. We've been having a great time. The streams on Saturdays and Sundays have been awesome. I love not just the park streams. Obviously, this with you is absolutely special and priceless. I love it. I'm so glad you came up with this idea, not me. This has been awesome. I really wish more people would join us, because it's been so much fun. The chat seems to really like it as well. It's really, really great. I love it. And
we do want to mention, this isn't just a stream that we do every week. We want people to come in and join us as well. So if you are interested, and if we pick a film that you really love and you want to be part of it, just let Walter or I know, and we'll happily bring you on and discuss the movie, because that's what this is all about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. But yeah, everything's great. Dan, congratulations on you. I think you're going to get to 1,900 before you know it. and we'll get him there. Everybody, again, share him out. Let's get Dan there. Let's get him to 2,000.
There we go. 5 away. 5 away now.
5 away, just like that. Now he's 5 away. Yeah, it's been great, dude. This has been awesome.
Great.
And, I appreciate it, and thank you everybody in the chat.
Thank you so much.
I always say that you have a choice of where you spend your time. You decided to spend it with Dan and I, and we're honored by that.
Yeah, this is great, and I want to give a massive thank you to everybody in the chat. You guys are absolutely amazing. Thank you again to all my wonderful members. Thank you so much. I know I've been a bit sort of MIA on the membership stuff, but I'm starting that back up really soon. It's just been a bit crazy, my side, with a lot of stuff, personal stuff going on. But I will be on that as soon as I can. But thank you so much for all the members. Thank you so much for everybody being here. And I just want to quickly just go run through a couple of things. Thank you, Dean, over at theliveplace.com. Dean has over 110 different live streamers, content creators. He is your go-to guy for all your live streamers, so you know who is going live at what times. To go check out Dean over the Live Place and the Dreamers Empire. Thank you so much once again to my partner channels, the Viapree Project, Mickey's Magic, this guy, Mouse Talk, and RobFuz. Go check those guys out. Wonderful partner channels. I'm grateful and humbled to be part of their partner channels, and it's absolutely wonderful. So thank you so much for being there for me and supporting me. So thank you so much. And you can follow me on Twitter and on Instagram. Well, anything you want to plug for you?
Tuesday night, DIZNEYDAN. Come on out. We're going to have a lot of fun. I'm not sure what the topic will be just yet, but we'll have a good topic. I'll put something out. And, of course, next Saturday, Melissa and I will be at Epcot for a Saturday morning stream, just like this week. And then Monday, which is Labor Day here in the States, we will be at Magic Kingdom. That might be an evening stream, a Monday evening stream.
Monday evening.
We might actually close the park out. We might start a little bit late. But look for we send out the reminders. Look for that. But Saturday and Monday next week. Sunday, we're not sure yet. We might take Sunday off, but we'll see something. Sundays are usually really big days, but we'll see.
It's fantastic. Yeah, so streams normally on the weekends, Monday to Sanity, on Tuesdays, all your other sorts of amazing videos, your park challenge videos. Mm-hmm. So much great stuff there. So Melissa's, I call it Melissa's Munchie Eats, because she loves her Munchie reviews, and I love that. Yeah, Exploration Eats. I love it. I absolutely love it. So go check out Walt from Mouse Talk. Thank you so much for being here. As for me, Disney Fiasco episode 105 will be next week, next Saturday, 7 p.m. Come check it out. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Disney Nuts will be returning on Thursday. I think we have Perfectly Cat joining us for our Disney Nuts show. And she'll be sitting for that Disney YouTuber quiz competition we do. And then I'm going to have another vlog this week as well. And a couple of other things, some other things in the planning. So, yeah, that's going to be good. So thank you so much again. Go watch The Cat from Outer Space this week. And we'll see you for next week on Walt's channel for that review. In the meantime, thank you so much, guys. You guys are the best, and live your life with a smile each and every day. And I'll see you guys all real soon.